Saturday, Flosstube. Hello, crafty friends. How's everybody doing today? It is July 4th, 2020. Happy July 4th to my friends in the United States today. Wishing you all very well and hoping that you have a lovely weekend. I did not do much crafting last night. I had big plans. I had really big plans, and then I think what happened was that the week just caught up with me last night, and that combined with it is really hot right here right now. We're lucky enough to have air conditioning in our house, so it's been a great reprieve from the heat. But as those of you with dogs who need some activity, I had to walk Luna last night, so I waited until it was 8:39 when the worst of the heat of the day was gone, but it was still very humid. And we went for a shorter walk last night than we normally do, but without the activity. She's a large, very strong dog, and she needs the activity, she needs the exercise, and frankly, so do I. So it's good for us to get out and get some fresh air, otherwise I don't think I'd ever leave this house. But it was hot. It was really hot, and so by the time I got home, I was just tired and a little bit crabby. And so I sort of sat in my chair with my stitching, and it was just one of those times where I thought, this is, I'm wasting my time because I'm just sitting here and I'm not stitching. And I just felt like I didn't have the brain power at that moment to count, squares needed. So what I did was I put my pajamas on. I had cozy pants on, but I didn't have my pajamas on yet. So I went that extra level and I put my pajamas on and I crawled into bed with my sock, my knitting, and some Star Trek. Star Trek, The Next Generation. It's a little bit of comfort TV for me. I'm very nostalgic about Star Trek, and especially The Next Generation. We also watched Voyager and Deep Space Nine and the other series, but The Next Generation was sort of, we were watching that when we were dating, John and I, and we were both rather big fans, and it's probably because of him that I started watching it, and so it's got that sort of nostalgia feel to me, reminding me of when we were dating and first in love. So I put on a couple episodes. I just watched a couple episodes last night with, now that they're all on Netflix. At least they are, I think, on the Canadian Netflix. I started back at the beginning of season 1, and it's been a little bit of a trip down memory lane, which has been kind of nice. So I watched a few episodes of Star Trek, and I just knit round and round and round on my sock, and I'm almost at the toe. So here's, I've put it on DPNs because I had a decision to make. I know that didn't focus. I'll show you a bit better there. Most of you have seen this every day now for the last week, so it's no big surprise. But you can see where the green stripe is. That's probably normally where I would start to put my toe in, but my contrast yarn is the green, and I really wanted it to have a green toe. So I decided that I would put in one more stripe. I'm going to put in the red stripe, and then I'm going to knit the toe. So I might make the toe a little more rounded than I normally would. I haven't quite decided. I think it's one of those things that I'm just going to see how it's knitting up. This is the super simple cuff down sock pattern by my friend Louise Patterson. She is Wildflower Wool, and you can find that on Ravelry. I also have a link to that pattern. There's a playlist section on this channel for Learn to Knit, and if you scroll down there, there's a Learn to Knit a Sock, and that's the pattern that I use in that tutorial series. So I still have my yarn. This yarn had one of those things happen where part of the inside comes out, and then you're constantly having to untwirl that little strand from the middle. So I kept hoping that that green was part of the next stripe, and it never was. So just one of those little petty annoyances. So my contrast color is that green. So I'm almost at the toe, and you never know. Maybe by Monday I'll have a finish. Who knows? So this morning with my coffee, I was really hoping to get a little bit more sewing done on Josh's quilt, but it's still packed up downstairs along with so much other stuff that still has to come up here. I feel like, remember we talked about things getting worse before they get better. Well, I'm not showing you downstairs because you know, the bookshelf not being moved yet has just, everything is kind of in limbo, waiting for that to happen so that I can move up everything that was on the bookshelf, which is now currently all over my dining room table. Yeah, so, and there was a lot of stuff on that bookshelf, and it needs to all be gone through, reorganized, refolded, checked, you know. It's just, and then in the space where I had my business downstairs, there's a whole other bookshelf that's not coming upstairs, and that's full of stuff that I used on a daily basis for my business. So I have to try and sort out what's critical that has to come up here and what can still stay downstairs. I don't really want to be up and down the stairs a million times a day. Though that also would be very good for me too, wouldn't it? So, nah. I'm going to try and get everything up here that I possibly can. But, you know, and yeah. So I've got a few other storage ideas, and I've still got a fair bit more room here to work with the storage systems that are already in place. So what I'm going to start with today is this thing right here behind me. Clean that out. I've got to empty out the bins of the remainder of Nicholas's stuff and let him sort through that. And then I'm going to, while he's sorting through that, I'm going to give the buckets. They're those plastic bins that they slide right into the unit. The top one's missing. Actually, it's empty and it's in the hallway. I need to scrub them out. I need to clean them thoroughly because I'm going to be putting fabric into them. So I want them absolutely sparkling clean before I put anything inside them. So those need to be given. I'm going to actually maybe even take them outside and use the pressure washer on them and then let them dry in the sun. I know, seems a little bit overkill, doesn't it? But it's faster because then I can line all 6 of them up at the same time, use the pressure washer on all of them, and then let them dry in the sun. So then they'll be nice and clean, and then I can bring some more stuff up here for that. So that's the plan. That's the plan. It's going to be, I have big plans for everything that I'd like to get done today. I'm also way behind on, you know, regular old household chores like laundry and dishes and, you know, all of the stuff that has to be done daily, or else you start to, you know, notice that you don't have clean forks to eat your dinner with. So I need to do some laundry today. I need to do several loads of laundry today, and the kids can help me finish sorting out some of the stuff that still needs to be gone through. Nicholas can also help with some of my things that need to still be carried up from downstairs, because, you know, when that's a lot too, when you're carrying, you know, heavy armloads full of stuff and you're going up and down the stairs all day. I did notice that my arm was a bit sore for a few days after Sarah and I initially tried to move that bookshelf. I didn't tear anything, but I had quite a sore muscle in my arm. So that's feeling better today, so that's good. And yeah, I'll go back to what I was doing this morning with my coffee. I was going to work on Josh's quilt, but I didn't because it's still tucked away downstairs. It's coming up today. So what I did instead was I put a few lengths. I think I put 2 or 3 lengths of floss into my Glendon Place Hope and Strength stitch along. And so I took a little video clip of my progress. It's not much, but it's, you know, it's better than nothing. And I'm loving seeing that, that lion take shape. So I'll just put that little clip in right here. And that's it. That's it. That's all I did crafty wise. So, oh, what I did some sewing yesterday. I'm always sewing. I'm always making bags. So that's always part of my daily crafting, which is nice. So it's a little sneak peek of a fabric that's coming up next week. It's a cute one. You might be able to see what's on it. You probably can. See, you have to remember that the screen that I'm looking at is about this big. So, and I have terrible eyesight. So I know it's in this, I know it's in the camera. I know you can see it, but I'm not quite sure how well you can see it. And anyways, a little sneaky peek of what's coming up next week. I am procrastinating. It's really nice to be able to just sit and chat with you today because I have so many. I can't even begin to tell you. There's no way I would ever show it to you. Showing you this room was bad enough, but now imagine that everything that was in this room, this room took precedence because I did it in about 4 days. And so a lot of stuff that still needs to go to its various places, be it the trash, recycling, donation, all of that still has to be moved and dealt with. And that's all downstairs. So I still have a lot of work to do, but I'm feeling really good that, you know, it's one of those things that when you're in the middle of it, it's hard to see the light at the end of the tunnel. But we'll get there. And having, oh, John and Nicholas ended up, they're not home yet. They were supposed to be home last night, but they got delayed. John was a bit tired by the end of the day when they had originally planned to come. So I said, you know, it's best if you just have a good night's sleep and leave early in the morning, just to be more careful. It's a long drive. It's almost 5 hours, 5-hour drive for him to come back from the cottage. So he and Nicholas are on their way now. He messaged me this morning about 9:30 that they were just leaving. So they'll be home early this afternoon, and I'll put them right to work. So that'll be fun. Okay, so that's it for me today. I have a few more clips of your whips to share at the end. I am loving doing this segment. And, you know, please feel free to, you don't have to send me a huge long letter if you'd like to share your whip and you don't feel like sharing a whole bunch of personal information about yourself. You'd just like to see what you're working on pop up on the screen. You don't have to send me anything other than, you know, hey, you know, I'm here to visit you, and here's my whip, and here's the details on it. Don't forget to include the details, especially the name of the pattern, and if it's not, you know, clear, because sometimes I have to do a little bit of detective work and I don't always have time. So sometimes I'll put things in that I don't have full details on. And I know a lot of people watching, they see your whip and they think, ooh, I'd like to stitch that too. And so it's nice if I can provide as much information as possible, such as title, designer, what fabric you're using, and what floss you're using as well. So that would be great. Guess I better get back to work right then. Sounds like Luna wants to go outside first, so we'll do that first. Maybe I'll make another cup of coffee first, and then I'm gonna get going. Right, wish me luck. Happy July 4th, and I will see you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody. Take care. Happy stitching.